have here with me the first fastest bartender in Texas, bartender in Houston, winner of season 1, season 2. Season 3, you ended up getting close, but you ended up making your Mexican candy with vodka, plus a couple other things.
A few things.
So it wasn't just one thing. But have Jose here, service well bartender at Super Rica, and wanted to bring him here, especially in light of us going into our relay tournament here in November, to spread some insight, because I feel like a lot of times people show up not knowing how much they're going to get clapped. You're going to get your ass clapped if you don't practice. So first off, let's start with the station reset, because I feel like that's the first area that needs to be addressed. A lot of times people don't take it as serious as they should. We give you 2.5 minutes to really set up your station however you want, put your liquor bottles in whatever way you want, your tools on whatever side, and so forth. Go ahead and touch on the benefit of putting it a certain way, because I know you probably have your own way, which somebody else could do it differently, but just go ahead and touch on the science.
If you're not moving the entire 2.5 minutes, you're probably underprepared compared to the other person. There's a lot of things that you could be doing, from setting up your glassware a certain way to make it easier to get, to making sure that your garnishes are in the proper place, that way you know where to reach whenever that time comes. Setting up your bottles is important, because when we're moving fast, it's very instinctual, and if your bottles aren't in the place that you're used to them being in, it might slow you down, or you can readjust them in a way that benefits you for the competition. Expediting, your shots and your cocktails, setting up your bottles in a way that helps with that, does speed up the process quite a bit.
And so when he says that, I'm guessing you're saying put your spirits next to the liqueurs that they're most likely poured with.
Statistically. So I do it in a very statistical manner. I determine the statistical probability of this spirit being used, and then I'll put it next to the most probable things that it might pop up with. Like if triple sec is in both your Cosmo and your Kamikaze, then the triple sec will probably going to be next to your vodka, because then it's applicable to a minimum of 2 things.
He's saying it very complicated. It's something that a lot of bartenders have done intuitively, but based on what they go with more often, just put it next to them. Like, I'm guessing you have the peach schnapps next to the whiskey.
Yeah. We're actually next to all spirits, just because there's all kinds of teas in this competition.
And I know one thing, when I had a chance to, win a championship in April, I was really big about my service well 10s being on separate sides, because I'm really big on being ambidextrous. Yeah. And I know a lot of times people start being very heavy-handed on one side. What are your thoughts?
If you're not using both hands, are you even trying?
That's what she said.
Yeah. If you're not moving with both hands, they're probably limiting yourself. Like, you got to be moving as efficiently as possible, and that means being ambidextrous behind that bar at that time. The easiest way to do it is to have a routine. That way you know what you're doing at what time, and that just kind of takes away the thought of you're doing 2 different things at once.
I like that, because we touched on that before, the sequence of events. You need to have the first few steps already in your mind of what you're going to accomplish. Me personally, I like to hit the timer, and then from there, I turn over the ticket, and while I'm comprehending what the drinks are saying, because especially now, the ticket's gonna get way more fucked up as I add different rims, that's when I'm like, you know what, I'm grabbing my napkins, and I'm putting them all out. Because nothing worse when putting your napkin than making your drinks, and then your napkins aren't prepared.
So a lot of times, I do skip this step whenever I'm competing, just because in the heat of the moment, your brain kind of just scatters.
Ready to rip it.
But theoretically speaking, when you flip that ticket is the best time to put out those napkins, just because it also gives you time to process what's on that ticket. And then it's not really a wasted step. You're not really hesitating. You're just doing something instinctively at the exact same time that you're processing the information that just got put in front of you.
And I know that a lot of people, they want us to start making drinks immediately because they think that's the race. And really, there's so many different steps of it, because we have the preparation of the drinks, where we have all these different specifications where you have to shake it, stir it a certain amount of times, making sure you jigger in your cocktails, free pour in your shots. But then when it comes to actually presenting the cocktails and serving them, making sure they have the right garnishes, making sure the rim is appropriate, and then making sure that it is on top of the napkin before you press stop. If it's not on the napkin, we're talking at least 20 seconds of time deductions. So, like you said, you want to start moving other things, but making sure that you have these sequences of events is going to be so critical, especially since your hand's already up there. You press start, you flip the ticket over, the napkins are right here. Napkins are right here.
It should just be a fluid motion at this point. it's honestly just way more efficient to put the napkins out at the very beginning rather than waiting until the end. If you do it at the end and you're rushing through it, those napkins tend to get stuck together and it messes with your psyche when you're that weeded.
And then you start knocking drinks over.
Yeah, and you're next thing you know, like your elbow's knocking over your espresso martini. You got to remake that entire thing.
So, man, going into this next era of SpeedRailz, who are some of your top killers right now you've been watching?
Right now, of course, Casey. Casey's probably number one on that list. Let's see, who's been?
You know, KC got
Diana.
DQ'd out there
Yeah,
in
Diana.
Austin, right?
I heard. Diana, of course, Diana, Queen of Austin right now. Marcus, always. And
Marcus ain't shit.
Marcus ain't shit is crazy.
Marcus ain't shit.
Diabolical. Let's see.
Marcus, if you ever watch this and you heard me say that, let us know in the group chat.
He already wants to smoke. Yeah, I would say those would probably be the top three people. Like, obviously, Roman is on that list.
Roman would fight you if you didn't say his name.
Yeah, I just assumed that was clear. I just assumed that was like the unspoken truth. Yeah, I would say that as far as I know that are competing this time around, I would say Casey, Diana, and Marcus for sure.
You know what, Jose, he's really good about saying he doesn't want to compete until like the day of he texts me and try to compete. That won't be happening this time unless you want to compete.
I mean, you want people to sign up, right?
Do you want to compete?
No, not right now.
All right. All right, well, Jose, former chap, came here to drop some sauce real quick since he's not in the competition. Thank you for your time. Appreciate it. Join the SpeedRailz group chat. Ask us any questions you got. We'll be putting pictures of the service well, copies of the rules. That's where we keep it updated. I'm trying to automate my life. It saves some time.
Spam Railz chat in the comment section.
All right, we're out of here. Peace.